Hey, this is Bryce Johnson from Expedition Bigfoot. You're listening to the Paranormal Zone.
Look, I know the supernatural is something that isn't supposed to happen, but it does happen.
A ghostly apparition in the dark of night.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So, Mike, that crazy, cool, creepy, eerie scrying mirror of yours, the It's Debbie mirror, it's kind of looking back at me right now. And if you want to be heard, you have to unmute your mic, by the way. So that helps. That's a big part. Mike's
there we go.
There it is.
Start over.
No, that's fine. No, that's perfect.
That's my idiocy kicking in.
Hell no. No, you were making me practice my lip reading abilities. So
yeah.
I appreciate that. So, that mirror though, I mean, I can see some of it right now. It's a cool ass flipping mirror. Longtime listeners know the story of this mirror. Have you attempted anything as of yet? Are you? Oh, ding. That's right. Ding, ding.
Yeah.
That was very weak and wimpy ding.
It was. I brought it closer.
Okay. There it is. There's the dingy ding, dingy ding,
Oh,
ding.
boy. There's something wrong with my dingy bell here.
Oh,
Hang on.
Good God.
Oh, come on. Get down there, Dad.
Stop playing with your dingy.
Wait a minute. The donger is stuck up there. Doggone it.
Mike's little dong. Mike's having a problem with this dong. There it is.
Come on. Oh, she's stuck.
Now, okay, he just said he's having problems.
Never mind.
He's having
Never mind.
problems with his dong, but he said she's stuck. So which one is it here? Mike's having a fit.
Oh, I got to buy a new one. Never mind.
Okay.
No dingy bell for now.
No dingy bell, but that's okay. That's okay. Now what the hell was I saying again? Oh, yeah. Your scrying mirror, the super cool It's Debbie mirror. Have you attempted anything yet? Have you stared at it? Have you made yourself dizzy by staring at it for long, extended periods of time?
No. Well, I have stared at it. I had it sitting in front of me at the podcast desk here, and I was just kind of getting familiar with all of the, it's an antique, very antique mirror. It's, wavy. There's little dimples and creases in there that when they poured the mirror, the glass, whatever. So I'm just getting myself familiarized with that so I don't confuse that with anything that might come up. That makes sense, right?
Absolutely, it makes sense. Absolutely.
So this mirror is going to be a big part of something. And
I'm looking at it right now. It was right before we started recording. I suggested, hey, maybe we should try it. Maybe we should put it in part of the my view right here and part of your view. Maybe, who knows? Maybe something will pass by it and
could be.
Maybe it'll make.
But yeah, I like it. It cleaned up really nice.
Yeah, it looks cool, man. So, it looks cool. Yeah. It's got that old antique look for sure. So kind of like you. You've got that good old antique
look. Oh, geez. More every day.
No. I kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The doctor said today she's brought up the mayo.
Oh, no cheese? No cheese or ham? Oh. Okay.
No mustard, no cheese.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. That was a good dad joke.
Making that trip to Rochester. But anyway, a lot of blood tests. They took pints of blood out of me today. I got dizzy.
No wonder you look so pale.
Needed orange juice. Yeah. But a lot of tests and see what happens from there, and then we'll be talking mayo, depending on what might pop up.
God damn. Well, fingers crossed. Everything's going to turn out great, man. Everything's going to turn out great. So you're getting married in the month, so it's better.
As my health gets worse every day, it'll get better.
Okay. What?
I told the doctor today. I told her one of the first things I said. I am sick and I'm failing.
Oh.
And she gave me a sad look, and she gave me, she said I saw her in the hallway before I went in to see her actually. And down the hall, and she waved at me with this sad look on her face, like, "Oh, am I pathetic or what?"
No, it was more a sympathetic or an empathetic look.
Yeah, it's like, what do you know that you haven't told me yet?
Now, was this a witch doctor or just a casual
she's
doctor?
A great doctor. Great doctor.
Well, it doesn't mean she's a witch doctor or not. You didn't answer the question. You said great.
She is.
Okay, she is. She's a witch doctor.
Very good doctor.
Witch doctor or not? That's what I'm asking you. Just say
How
yes.
many do you want to talk about? Which one? Which one is it? This one or that one? What are you talking about?
WITCH doctor.
She is not a witch
okay,
doctor.
That's what I was asking.
The other one, which might be possibly.
Oh, that's right. You do have multiple doctors. That's right. Okay. Sorry for confusing you. Anyways, good Lord Almighty. Hey, everybody. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. This is, believe it or not, the Paranormal Zone, your weekly dose of all things. Hey, you guessed it, paranormal, strange, and mysterious. My name is Patrick Hoffenberg, and I'm joined, as always, you heard him already, by my co-host with the ghosts, the paranormal poster boy, the man who needs no introduction, even though I give him one every week, Mr. Mike Carbno. It is good to see you. We got a good one lined up today. This is going to be a cool, fun topic. This involves a future destination of ours when it comes to our personal ghost investigations, and we can't wait. We're talking about the Eerie, allegedly haunted ghost town of Tagus, North Dakota, kind of close to Mike's stomping grounds. I mean, North Dakota, the whole state of North Dakota is Mike Carbno land as far as I'm concerned. So.
Yep, my stomping ground.
This was pretty cool, though. You sent me this idea like a week and a half ago. You sent me like a little clip. I think you sent me on the TikTok. You gave me a little glimpse into this allegedly creepy.
I found it, and I knew we had to do something with it.
Well, just that it's so darn close. I mean, it's still a healthy drive. I think you said it's like 4.5 hours from Enderlin. So it'd be like 6.5, 7 hours away from Park Rapids here. But we got to make this happen. We got to spend a day and an evening just trouncing about town. Well, it's not a town anymore. It's a ghost town. And man, oh man, does it have some supposedly creepy, freaky shite going on there. So we're going to dive into all of that, and it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. So
it will be.
Now, it is, just to be clear, it is pronounced Tagus, not Tagus, not Tagus. 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 Tagus.
That's what I would say.
And that's what we're going with. So, and you just informed me that your brother lives a mere 40 miles away from Tagus.
Yeah, this town of Tagus is 40 miles west of where my brother lives in Minot, North Dakota, with his lovely wife.
You know, looking into the story of this ghost town, this haunted ghost town, it seems to be something that should be and probably is pretty well known throughout kind of the prairie lands of North Dakota, so to speak, you know, if not the entire state. It seems like this is a story that is, a lot of people call it an urban legend, but this is a story in itself that's grown in leaps and bounds as far as stature, and maybe some exaggerations going on there, maybe some innuendos, maybe some suggestions that aren't exactly true, but we're not going to know for sure until we go there.
Well, the innuendo that I find quite interesting is they call it the gateway to hell, one of the gateways to hell.
Now, what if, was that like the town greeting sign? Like you're driving into Tagus, right? There's like
are entering Tagus, gateway to hell.
I know, exactly. Spray painted.
Don't forget the suntan lotion.
Oh, hell yeah. You can't forget the suntan lotion when you're going to hell. My God.
And bring a lot of water.
Yeah, I heard it's kind of toasty down there. So, you want to make sure you're hydrated. That pesky devil can be a prick, that's for sure. So,
what I find interesting too is also, as well, is that the stairway, there was an actual stairway that is filled in now, but it was in the church that was burned down. They figure vandalism, and then it said that they buried up this stairwell down to the gateway to hell, or whatever, the bowels of the basement of this church where the boiler might be. They buried it up to hide it.
Didn't they say that? Now again, this is alleged, but wasn't part of the story that these stairs descended forever I mean, like there was no
Yeah.
end to them essentially. So it's like,
Right.
oh, that's a tad bit creepy and
Very.
I mean, if it's
I've
real,
been in abandoned farmhouses before, where opening up a basement door and shining the flashlight down there. I remember this one distinctly where I shined the flashlight down the basement stairs, and it was so black and dark down there. It's like it ate up the light from the flashlight. It went nowhere. I couldn't see down the bottom of the stairs with this flashlight. I mean, it just ate the light.
and this thing,
we left.
You can just imagine, you can just imagine the weight and the feeling like if you were in this church while obviously it was still standing before it burned down. I think it was like 2001 when
Right.
it finally got burned down, and it is
There is a
believed to be
memorial marker there now, though.
yes, a memorial plaque. Yes, St. Olaf's
Right.
Lutheran Church, I believe.
That's a good Norwegian Lutheran church.
But it is believed
St.
to be an act of vandalism. Unfortunately, there is a history of vandalism in this town,
Yeah.
going back years and years. I read something earlier today about Halloween night in the 1980s, where more than 300 like Halloween, I don't know, troublemakers.
People go in there to let's see the ghosts and
Exactly, because by
it's a
that
great
time,
Halloween thing.
I mean, by that time, it had been almost utterly, completely abandoned. Believe it or not, there's still a few residents who live in
Yep.
and about the town, around the town.
But no businesses. The last business, I think it said it closed down.
Yes,
What was it in the 70s?
76, the year of my birth.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's right.
and I think the population of Tagus at that time was 14. So
Yeah.
it peaked
Well,
at like
and-
140 or something like
Yeah,
that.
I was just going to say that the peak was not. Yeah, just a nice, quiet, little, lazy North Dakota rural town.
Railroad town. Yeah, exactly.
Rural. I said rural. I can't say rural.
Oh,
very
I
well.
got it. But both rural and railroad. It was a railroad
Yes.
town. So, see, the dogs agreeing with you too. Even the dog's hearing is irritated by Mike's attempt to pronounce rural.
Yeah. But speaking of railroad, there is supposedly a haunted train,
Oh God,
a
yeah.
ghost train that comes through town.
Phantom train.
If we do not get there, we're idiots.
No, yeah, exactly. Well, we'll still be idiots, but we'll be cool idiots if we make it there. Mike's beating his dog right now at this moment. I'm kidding. He's
Yeah, my
he's
beast saw
chastising the
something
dog.
out the window.
Now, where was I here? Oh, yeah, 1976 when the last business shut down. The town disincorporated at that time.
Right.
And then getting back up to that where I was talking about that huge Halloween bash that went down in the 80s. Like over 300 people showed up and just basically trashed, the town that was there. Like the county sheriff had to be called in to break it all up. And I guess it was for years and years and years and years. And I get it. We were kids once too, Mike. It's like, hey, let's drive to that creepy town. Let's throw some keggers. Let's have some partying. And
Yeah, I never
course
did do that.
oh, you didn't? Oh,
Never did any kegs parties. Well, once, and then I got really drunk and I passed out in my backyard.
Oh,
Thankfully, my parents didn't find me. I was only like 16 at the time. But that's the only time I ever did that. But anyway, I digress.
nah, I was I was referring to those like where you have to. God darn it, doggy! What the hell's happening over there? Mike almost stood up this time. He's getting so flustered with. Now, was that Mishka or is that Macy?
That's Mishka, the Great Pyrenees mountain beast.
Gotcha. Now, I was saying that I was referring to like keg parties, keggers, where you like drive out to the middle of nowhere and you meet up with all supposed people who are your acquaintances, but you don't know any of them and you feel awkward.
Yeah.
And you drink gross keg beer
Mm-hmm.
and you listen to the awful music that's pounding out of people's trucks, and then you're going to go, I want to go home. And that,
Yeah. Back then, it
doesn't that
would've
go?
been
Isn't
like-
that how it goes for everybody, or is that just me?
Oh, sure. You're either drinking Old Milwaukee or
Yep, exactly.
bootleg Coors or something.
Yeah, exactly. Budweiser,
Back
maybe.
then, it was bootleg Coors. Back then, you couldn't get it here.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't live in
But
those,
anyway.
I'm glad I didn't subsist off of bootleg Coors. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're kind of giving a brief intro here, flying through a lot of stuff. We're going to dive into some of these alleged
yeah.
occurrences in this
Awesome stories.
awesome locale. Looking through, the old Google, you can find just a ton of really cool. Well, I shouldn't say a ton, because I did had to search. I did have to search quite a bit, but found some really neat old photos of the town. Current ones of the abandoned houses, all the dilapidated houses, and it looks eerie. It looks creepy.
I was surprised there's as much information as there is on it, especially about the paranormal part.
I'm surprised. Okay, yeah, I agree with you. I am totally surprised. Okay, we were driving back from town, me and the girls and stuff, and Jaden just casually asked, because she knew I was going to come back and record the podcast, and she's like, "Okay, so what are you guys talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, we're going to talk about some, allegedly haunted ghost town and stuff." And she said, "Oh yeah, which one?" And I was like, "Oh, it's in North Dakota. It's called Tagus." She goes, "Oh, I've heard of that." And I'm like, "What?
Really?
When have you heard of that?"
No, I don't believe that.
And
Where did she hear that?
I was leery too, but then she's like, "No, it was on TV. It was like a television program. There's paranormal investigators who were visiting the town there." And she's like, "Mom actually walked in and she asked me what I was watching, and so she knows about it." I'm like, "Really?" So I have to go find that show.
Remember what show it was, though?
No, she didn't. She didn't. It was,
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, they have all their little streaming apps downstairs. So who the hell knows which one? Well, streaming apps everywhere. But I don't know which one she was watching, but that's cool. Very, very cool.
Well, so this is actually going to be another place that we'll go to where investigators have been.
Yeah.
Or an episode on TV, just like the Sally House and the Villisca, and awesome.
Now, one thing I want to ask real quick here, Mike, in our prolonged intro, how does one town, I did write this down, my professional notes. You see these right here?
Mm-hmm.
My professional notes. Almost filled out the entire side right there, as you can see. Mike,
going at different angles.
It different directions. Hey, I understand it. I get it.
I see a paragraph written backwards.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It's talent. It's a talent. I'll tell you that right now.
You're dyslexic in a really weird way.
But I wrote down here specifically, and I underlined it. I said, "Why would an entire town be haunted?" So I want to ask you that. I mean, now is the entire town totally, just breaming and teeming with paranormal activity? No, we're not really suggesting that. I don't think even the stories and the legends suggest that, but a high quotient of the locales, the buildings, the even if they're burned down buildings, what have you, are supposedly just brimming, teeming with paranormal activity. Now, is that due to the land itself? We've talked about stuff like that before, Mike. Is that area of the earth for some reason, conjuring up all this activity, or is there something else going on?
Well, when you think about it, North Dakota, we've been to like Standing Rock, and there's between here and there's a very, very old. Well, you can't see it now, but there used to be a native village there back in, it could have been a couple hundred years ago. There's places like that all over. Could Tagus have been built on an even older burial ground or village? Something. It could be anything.
Well, and the thing is, that's a very real possibility. Oh, we got our little countdown warning already here. To me, that's a very legit possibility that, if not necessarily the entire town, a good portion of it, maybe it is built right on top of, like you said, some sacred grounds. Because let's face it, settlers didn't give a damn for about a lot of that shit back then. There's not saying I'm not being all encompassing here.
Right.
But, a good portion of them, no reverence, no respect. They're just like, nope, we're going to build a town here. We don't care what the hell happened.
It doesn't matter. But also, like I said, it could have been an ancient place, like hundreds of years going back, and they didn't even know. And it could have been gone before they got there and started building a town. Anything's possible.
And of course, and we're going to dive into this as well. Is this something that human activity has conjured up over the years? Because there are alleged stories of, guess what? Extreme satanic rituals of all sorts of depravity that have allegedly gone down here, and some of it is
in the church.
In the church, some of it is pretty grotesque and disgusting. But hey, we wouldn't expect anything else, right?
You're right.
No offense to
Not
any.
like we wouldn't have covered it if we would have known that beforehand.
No, exactly. I know I got you. And again, hey, no offense
Especially
to.
after the last episode we did.
I gotcha, man. I gotcha. No offense to any Satanists who are listening right now. You do your thing, just don't hurt anybody. But apparently that is
Watch
the
those
case.
sacrifices.
Yeah. Kind of tone down the sacrifices just a wee bit, okay? You have such a bright future. Why you have to go do all that shit?
You need a good counselor. No, that's getting offensive to somebody in their beliefs, and I don't want to do that.
You need a hobby, Bobby. Oh, I honestly did not mean to say Bobby there. That just popped in my, Bobby's new hobby, satanic
I
rituals.
think they had a hobby. It's just not a very nice one.
That's what I'm saying. God damn, Bobby. No offense to anyone named Bobby. Good Lord. Well, Mike, should we do a brief time traveling excursion here and
Yes,
set our bearings and refresh our minds and dive into this pretty cool story here of the
yes. And when we get back, be ready.
Oh God,
It's crazy. It's a crazy story, and we're
Some
going
of
to be
this
there.
stuff is great.
We need to pitch a tent and stay overnight where the church is.
Why'd you have to say pitch a tent though? I mean,
I
I'm
regret
I'm a sick, depraved mind. I guess at times because I immediately went that way.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I regretted it halfway through. But
I know
was
the moment you said
committed to it.
pitch, you said pitch. I'm like, oh God, here we go.
But no, seriously though, wouldn't that be something?
What,
or
pitching a tent?
Yeah, or sleep in the car even with the windows open, or
Oh, good Lord.
just listen, listening and recording.
Well, that's the thing too. Is without revealing anything until we come back. That's
right.
how many of these alleged paranormal audio phenomena have been reported there, and those are creepy in itself. And
Yeah.
man, I'm looking forward to it. So, Mike, let's
Yes.
take off. Let's time
ready.
travel briefly. I'm going to go back in time to I'd say about 1744, just for the hell of it.
I'm gonna go step in dinosaur poop.
Okay, well, have fun. Don't get stuck because I don't need you to be petrified when you come back. So, hold on, boys and girls. We shall be right back. Sometimes, Mike, before we dive into this, I feel like we should put a disclaimer at the very beginning of each episode, just because we're, me in particular, so paranoid half the time about offending anybody. Offending anybody. It's called a humor, everybody. So,
Yeah.
as far as far as the disclaimer goes, no, we're not going to do it. But I feel like we have to throw that out there every now and then, which is kind of a sad example of the state of things. You know what I mean? It's just
It is. But it makes me think of. I wish we'd hear from Pedro again.
Do you really?
Yeah. It's
No.
nice to have some feedback, whether it's good or bad.
No, I gotcha. But again, he's going to tell us that we need to actually swim in Loch Ness before we can talk about the legend of the Loch Ness monster. So
Yeah. Well, let's do that. I'm
Okay.
up for that to be one hell of a road trip.
well, how are we supposed to prove, or discuss the idea of alien life throughout the universe? Apparently, we have to build our own spacecraft and perfect it and start traveling the universe, and then we can start talking about alien life forms. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I just wanted
Too
to
much
throw that
time
out there.
spent on the Pedro.
Yeah, hey, or just anybody who decides to be negative. It's one thing I've never understood. It's we ask for feedback. We would love to get feedback. We love getting feedback, and for the most part, the feedback we do get is very positive. But I just never, ever quite get people who are so irritated about something that they have to take time out of their lives just to let you know that you bug them for some reason or another. So it's okay, whatever, buddy. Start your own podcast and you can talk all about us.
Yeah, and it's not like we're like anybody to target for that. We're just nobodies that know nothing until we figure crap out.
All right, enough of that. Enough. Now,
Anyway,
Mike.
yes.
Now, be honest, Mike. Before last week, were you familiar at all with the ghost town Tagus?
No, and I'm very disappointed in myself because
You're a Nodak. You're a
I should have
Nodak.
known. Yeah.
And I'm stunned that your brother has never mentioned anything. I mean, he's a mere 40 minutes away about.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to ask him about that.
he probably is aware. He probably knows. I'm guessing he knows. So.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Now, where the hell do we start with this, Mike? Some of these alleged occurrences are just out there, and it's loaded, okay? Just a little quick background. The town of Tagus was founded in 1900, described as founded on a rolling spot on the prairie, about 40 miles west of Minot off Highway 2. Began as a railroad settlement town. Its peak population hit 140 in 1940.
Yeah.
Go figure. A little synchronicity right there, I guess. And that was pretty much it for population. It just continued to, I don't know, people just kept leaving until it got to be 14 people in 1976. And as I mentioned earlier, then the town was disincorporated. The last business shut down. And here we are. We're talking about this ghost town of Tagus. I mean, I did look for this. There's no explanation as to why everyone deserted over the years. It just wasn't prospering. It wasn't.
It happens to a lot of little towns in North Dakota and these, a lot of towns. But and I think you mentioned that in 2001 is it says the sole remaining church was burned down, possibly due to vandalism, and then it says where the plaque stands, where the building once stood. So thankfully, the plaque is there, so we can find that location and really do a lot of due diligence there.
I realized I said prospering. I wanted to say prosperous, so it just wasn't prosperous. But I said prospering. I don't even know the word, so I just wanted to make that clear. Mike was so confused by me that he froze. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, so did you.
Well, I was just explaining my my shitty aptitude for the English language at times, apparently. So.
Yeah.
The town was originally called Wallace, but it was changed to Tagus because it did not want to be confused with the overly famous town of Wallace, Idaho. So if you're living in Wallace, Idaho right now, hello, everybody. And that was not a shot taken at you or your lovely town. I just want to make that perfectly clear.
You're getting too
No, I'm not. Not at all. Don't go there. Gosh, like I said, where do we start? We kind of briefly mentioned that church already. Let's dive into some of the supposed satanic activity, satanic rituals that have been going on there, which again, possibly, if these occurrences are legit, if they did indeed go down, maybe that had a part in conjuring up some sort of demonic, there's the word demonic paranormal activity, because there's lots of supposed demonic paranormal activity going on here.
Yeah, and the activity that was taking place in the church with the rituals and things there, I mean, there's no way that wouldn't cause a lot of paranormal activity. I mean, I'm sure.
Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I'm sure that there's, some of it that is definitely exaggerated, and
sure,
you got to kind of pick and choose what you want to really dig into and investigate. But we just got to check it all out.
Now, the one site that I was on reading all about some of these alleged paranormal activities, it had it was a nice little short, brief, to the point article, but it had a very long and prosperous, I'm not using that right, I know I'm doing that on purpose, but very helpful list of comments from readers and stuff, and people who have been in and out of the town of Tagus, and people who are sharing some of their personal experiences.
Excellent.
And one of them was from a man who said that he worked for the ambulance service there in and around Tagus, in the county that Tagus abides in during the 1980s. And he said that he was often called out to that area hundreds of times for farm accidents. And he said, like, a lot of times he went out there, they weren't exactly farm accidents. One incident in particular, he says, unfortunately, ended up being the discovery of a dead boy, 17 years old, who was found underneath some farm equipment and found to have been stabbed over 150 times.
Jeez.
With also, get this, carvings all over his body.
Well, does that sound like could be a satanic ritual or what?
Absolutely.
Seriously.
That's terrifying.
It could have been done in the church, and he could have been moved to hide him under a farm equipment. I'll make it look like a accident, but you can't make 100 stab wounds and carvings on a body look like an accident.
No,
there's just no way.
Exactly. Yeah,
Nick's got some very, very crazy worms crawling on him. Or
Oh,
something.
good
I don't
God.
know.
Yeah, and this gentleman who shared this, he said this is all part of public record. He says you can go search it, and so it's like he's not BSing.
So we got a lot more research to do before we actually.
Ooh. But some of this, I mean, I brought that up first because related to, like Mike said, some of these satanic rituals they're alleged to have gone on here. Some of these practices involved bestiality, lovely bestiality.
Well, you got those lonely dogs out there.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's another segue to hellhounds, for God's sakes, which are
that's
supposedly
right.
there.
That is,
We'll dive into that in a second. The lovely and wonderful cannibalism. I mean, that's another wonderful aspect of these supposed satanic rituals. Now, some of these start getting just downright awful. The alleged slaughter of hundreds of innocent, pure, white, fluffy little kittens. White, fluffy little kittens. The slaughter of those white, fluffy little kittens.
It would be really bad.
The slaughter of white, fluffy kittens? Yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah. But I mean, this. Why would this even pop into my head? But it sounds so horrible to me that
Mike needs help.
I have a picture in my mind of going into a building there, and there's little hooks hanging from the rafters with skinned kittens hanging on them. Why?
Mike, I am not joking. That is another supposed. Again, I'm overusing.
Are you
this
serious?
This I'm not.
I've never read any of this stuff.
I'm overusing every episode. I overuse 3 or 4 different words, and one of them one of them tonight is alleged or allegedly. Right. Allegedly, people going through the town of Tagus, the ghost town, have claimed to have come across the skinned carcasses of animals strewn about the deserted roads. Okay. So, take that
definitely
as well.
More satanic rituals are most likely.
Now, how about this one? Infants on skewers. Right.
Whoever did this stuff are imports from somewhere else in the world, because it's not a Nodak that would do this stuff. Must have came from Minnesota.
Okay, yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Well, they had to drive a few hours to get there, so I don't know.
No, this is unbelievably.
I mean, it's awful. It's horrible. And again, here's that word, alleged. Okay, but that's what some of these people are claiming to have seen, and it is unbelievably awful to think about that even being a thought in someone's mind, let alone actually going through with it.
Right. Well, already, I mean, even if it's just a fraction of this is true of what allegedly happened there, it's still just horrifying, even if it just a part of this happened.
You know who would love visiting this town? Zach Bagans.
Sure. Maybe that's who was there. I don't know.
Why the hell have the crew of Ghost Adventures not visited Tagus, North Dakota? All you have to do is say the word satanic or demonic to Zach, and he's there.
Well, he's been in North Dakota. They've been in North Dakota. We're at the insane asylum up in there. The asylum up in.
Oh yeah. No, you're sure, exactly. That you and your brother visited. What the hell? We're both drawing a blank on the name of that damn thing.
Yeah, I got it written on the back of the brick from there.
I got it right behind me. You talk while I go grab the brick.
Okay. Well, it's been a nice day today. This weather is quite nice, but we're expecting a storm. Maybe later. Patrick is now.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
There. Oh, I think he found it.
San Haven.
Of course. Yeah. And why would we not?
Why do we draw a frickin' blank on that one? Good God Almighty.
But yeah.
So I'm wondering why Zach and crew have not been there. That's his calling card for sure. So he can show up. He can show up shirtless. He doesn't have to take his shirt off.
Yeah. So. I tell you what, get a hold of him and we'll meet him there.
Shirtless. Both of us.
No. Well, my belly's gone. So I do have a little bit of bloat that they're still trying to figure out, but that's all I have left in my belly.
Supposedly eyewitnesses the night before this church was burned down claimed to have seen an inverted cross painted on the door.
Right.
the night before. So maybe you can meet Zach Bagans shirtless with an inverted cross painted on your belly.
Yeah, and I can show him my bloat.
Whatever you would like to show him, I'm sure he'd be open-minded to anything. Anyways, we kid Zach because we love him. We love the show. We love Zach, and we would love to talk to any of those guys one of these damn days.
Oh, I'd love to talk to him, but you keep your love for him to yourself. That's okay.
Well,
I mean, I don't hate the guys. They're just, I'm just
of course
irritated.
you don't. I know. And how? But irritated in a fun way. It's not like
Sure. Yeah. We'll leave it at
an
that.
entertaining way. And
Yes.
we don't agree with 90% of the stuff that he claims is satanic half the time or demonic. But you know what? God bless him. He's a success, and I want to talk to him. End of story.
Don't tell him you're jealous.
Right. Oh.
You were at the point where
satanic rituals, infants on skewers. Good God
the
almighty.
painted upside down cross on the door.
And that was part of those comments too that I was reading off the site. It was a girl, and she said her and her teenage friends at the time, they used to, they were one of the innocents who would they've heard of the legend, I'm sure, kind of growing, and they would tend to travel in and about and through the town at night just to maybe try and creep themselves out and all that stuff. But they said one night they legitimately saw an upside down cross painted on the church, and then the very next day it burned down. So is that coincidence? Was that due to the same vandals who eventually burned the place down? Some people claim it was actually electrical fire, but there's strong evidence apparently suggesting that it was vandalism. So there's that.
And that wouldn't surprise me.
Another one of these stories, Mike, this is kind of cool and kind of creepy, is that residents there claim to see and hear a ghost on horseback still walking down the town road. I love stuff like that. Now, to me, that seems like it would be something residual if it was real.
That could
maybe,
be. Yeah.
Maybe, or do you think it's something intelligent?
It could be either one. I mean, but it could very well be a residual. But they didn't have any. They didn't say what the person
there
looked
was
like.
there wasn't any particulars about it. It's just kind of the phantom image, of this entity walking up and down the streets.
So I was wondering if it was something from way back, like if it would have been like a native on horseback. That would have been kind of something to think about. But
this was another story shared from it was another young lady. It wasn't the same one. It wasn't the same one talking about when they saw the inverted cross and connected it to the fire the next day. But another group of young kids claimed to, when they were walking through the cemetery at night, they said not just one, but multiple people were hit by a 5-inch thick tree branch that was pulled back and then snapped forward to hit them as they were attempting to walk by.
That would definitely not be a residual.
5-inch thick tree branch.
How would you pull that back? I mean,
yeah,
that's big.
Let's think about if this is paranormal. Let's think about the energy that it takes to manipulate this 5-inch thick tree branch enough so to pull it back and then whoo, snap, let go, just to, like pulling a very mean prank on these teens walking through the cemetery.
Once I woke up from being knocked out, I'd be wondering what the hell happened.
Right. That's
collect my body parts that were knocked off.
Yeah, you're coming to your senses and you have to question what the hell happened. It's like, did we just get hit by this tree branch? I mean, how the hell did that happen? Speaking of the cemetery, multiple witnesses have claimed that there is a particular headstone in that cemetery that glows at night. Now that is weird. What the heck is going on there? Again, if real. Now, we're not talking about reflective light. We're not talking about moonlight. It's not in a particular location that somehow there's some sort of natural explanation for it. No, we're talking about like a luminous glow to this headstone.
Yeah, because I know that, the cemetery that you and I were in, that I was in when I was in high school and got that recording.
Teen People Leave. That one?
Right.
Yeah.
There were stories of a glowing headstone there as well, but there it's at a point where there's a street that comes right to the cemetery, and then it's like you either turn left or right, and the cemetery is straight ahead of you. So, that's probably like reflection off of a car, something like that. But,
sure.
I mean, if this is like a glow that is, self-luminescent, and plus there isn't going to be a lot of traffic out there that's,
this isn't
going
an
to be shining
abandoned
off of
ghost town.
But like in Fargo, of course, that's going to happen anytime during the day or night, but traffic anyway.
Now, how about this, Mike? And again, this is from another website altogether here. Actually, yeah, all of this is kind of combined here. My professional notes. Several people who have went to visit Tagus claim to have been chased out by the very few remaining disgruntled residents, including allegedly being chased out by a car that goes insanely, this is a quote, insanely fast. And then nowhere to be seen is said car. Some people have
God
claimed,
knows Duke boys.
there you go. Where's Boss Hog when you need him?
Yeah. The sheriff.
Some people have claimed to have even been shot at by these disgruntled residents. And
So we want to go there, huh? I've had guns pointed at me before, and I didn't like it. I did not like it.
Mike, when we go there, it'd be funny as hell if some disgruntled old resident waddles up to us and just simply asks us,
"What are you, a couple of nitwits?"
Can't even pee when I want to.
I know, exactly.
Go to the bathroom or whatever.
Igor, is this a good idea for us to go to Tagus?
No.
Oh.
Well, I tell you, if we can go there and meet Henry Fonda, he can say whatever he wants. So,
the first corner that Mike turns around, and of course is So there's old Christopher Walken. So, anywho, now not everybody who has gone in and about and through Tagus claims to have experienced stuff. A lot of people, probably most people, don't believe in these legends, and that's very common. More power to them. They think it's all a bunch of hooey, and it's
right.
It's just
that's okay.
hearsay and rumor and and what have you. I even got a quote from former head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, Jim Mora. He visited back in 1996. What did you find, Jim Mora, when you visited Tagus?
Diddly poo.
Okay.
Well, not everybody is open to this kind of thing.
So I have to really set up some of these audio bites here. So I apologize there. So
you know what I'm going to do when we go there? I'm gonna bring my 8x10 glossy of chip coffee, and I'm going to hold that in front of me.
Hell yeah!
And I will be protected.
He has got such a protective look on his face, a nurturing, warm, caring.
Yep, beautiful scarf.
That wonderful. Wasn't he wearing like a pink sweater in that photo?
Yeah. Oh yeah, pink sweater. I got it right here. It's always with me.
Of course he is.
His little glasses, nice little cropped hair, very pretty smile.
I know it's exquisite. I tell you, that smile is a hell of a lot better than staring up his nostrils when you're interviewing him. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, nice scarf, kind of a red and dark and grays and kind of a checkered look.
And just in case new listeners don't know what the hell I was talking about right there, I was so lucky to talk to Chip on the podcast, years ago. And unfortunately, he had his video on, but I don't know if he knew he had it on because he had his laptop sitting literally in his lap. And the entire hour I was talking to Chip, I was staring up his nose. And that's all I could look at. It's just right there.
You've seen Chip that in a way that a lot of people don't get to.
That's exactly right, and I'm proud of that. And
it was an awesome interview too, by the way.
I should have taken screenshots. Why did I not do that? Moving
if
forward,
you did, I would have wanted one for my podcast.
Oh hell yeah!
But anyway,
yeah. Moving forward here, alleged encounters. Mike, visitors claim to have been terrified by the sudden and sometimes vicious appearance of hellhounds. Yes, we're talking the hounds of hell who are very angry, not happy that you are there, and kind of like those disgruntled residents attempt to chase you out. The thing is that's weird about that is that people who have encountered these say they literally, to them, that seemed like they came out of nowhere. Like they feel like there's nothing anywhere near them, and all of a sudden they're right there by their side, and they're growling and snarling, and they're quite frankly terrifying.
They pop through a portal.
Do you believe in hellhounds, Mike? In all honesty, because I know how you feel about the demonic and all that good stuff, but
there could be something to them. I don't know if they're, maybe there's something along the lines of a type of a skinwalker. Who knows?
Good one. Yeah, good point.
It could be, a hellhound. I mean, that's, as good a name as any form. I mean, could very well be something to it.
And of course, the name, the term hell, obviously hellhound limits it to the idea of a heaven and hell type thing, it gives it the religious connotation. So it could very well exist, but that's just the name itself makes you question it kind of, But it could very well be something. It could very well be an evil entity of some sort.
Yeah. So they've actually seen them. It's not like coyotes on the other side of a hill or something. Right.
And they say that they're like they appear right in front of them, next to them, kind of out of nowhere.
Because coyotes, I mean, there's a lot of coyotes around at nighttime. At nighttime here, you can hear them up the hill behind our house and out in the field or whatever. But
same here, Mike. Same. I mean, not as often.
Well,
not as often, I don't think, as in North Dakota, but heard them quite often over here.
But you hear like the bobcats and the
and, absolutely,
which scared you to death that one night.
Well, I don't know if it scared me, but I was like, "What the hell is it?" Right. I was kind of creeped out, but then I recorded that audio, and you immediately said, "I know what." I
loved it. Yeah. Like bobcats, fox make sound like you wouldn't. Believe,
sure. Yep.
Cougars,
wolves are around here too, man.
Wolves, they're all out there. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, some of this stuff here that we're talking about is downright sad, if true. It is related to the burned down church, but it is alleged that if you find yourself at the spot, the exact right spot, in and about where the church burned down, in and about where those steps are now buried, if you find yourself in the exact right spot and you stand there in silence, you will eventually, Mike, hear the disembodied voices of those condemned, those perhaps trapped at the bottom of the stairway to hell.
Or it could be screams of ghosts and souls that are there and could easily be interpreted as burning souls in hell.
Yeah, of course. And since, it's at the location of a church, again, you get the religious connotation to it in the field. And so you're like, oh my God, they must be trapped in, I don't know. But I don't necessarily buy the idea that they're trapped and you're hearing their disembodied voices, but I'm not saying that you're not hearing disembodied voices in and about the town, because that has also been claimed in a lot of the buildings, the abandoned houses. People have claimed, again, particular houses, if you kind of dare to get close enough, maybe even enter, you hear.
We will. There's no stopping nothing.
As long as some disgruntled old man isn't pointing his rifle in our face. Yeah, of course.
Nope. I'll take care of that.
People claim to have heard not only disembodied voices, but also, this is sad, babies crying.
Right. Well, and that goes back to the legend you hear of babies on skewers.
Infants on skewers. Oh my God, that is so awful. Good God.
Could this have been, hearing these things, and then it's like, oh, I bet that could be babies on skewers.
Right.
That's what we're hearing. It could have been somebody, putting a very dramatic explanation on something that they're actually hearing.
Mm-hmm.
It could be babies crying. It could be, who knows? But
we have to look at it from all angles, of course.
All angles.
Yeah.
What I should.
Go ahead, Mike.
I should bring my metal detector and see if we can find any place where there might have been an opening. Like some.
Ooh, I like that
metal that might be there where it's buried in that where the stairs used to be.
Now, is that metal detector of yours? Is that something that's still like buried down in your basement somewhere, or is that?
No, I have this up in my back porch actually.
Oh, very cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Because I know you said you wanted, like, the next time you come visit here, you wanted to kind of traverse the land around here, and like my backyard actually.
Well, there's a lot of history on your property right there and beyond into the woods, I think.
Mike, let's talk about this phantom train.
Yeah.
Okay, first and foremost, how in the hell does something like that exist? Is it kind of the same principle as phantom ships on the ocean, do you think? Is that the simplest way to explain the possibility?
Sure. Something like that. It very easily could be a residual. A lot of energy putting out something that big. If there's a lot of energy at that location,
yeah,
you could be seeing a train that used to come through there, 90 years ago or whatever.
And it's just kind of like the energy at that location is kind of capturing the energy of this train that went through it so often. So it's like that residual is just kind of remaining over, throughout the years, right?
Yeah.
I kind of get that idea. Maybe. I mean, I looked a little bit into it. I didn't see anything about like an occurrence of like a train wreck or anything of such nature. I didn't see anything about people dying on the railroad tracks. So I'm fascinated and I'm curious as to this alleged train. But again, it's supposedly something that you can hear when you stand by the tracks. You hear this thing rumbling, stumbling, bumbling, coming closer to you until it just zooms past you.
And that's are they tracks that are still used? I wonder, are they dead or not? I'm not dead. It's a kind of a
that's a great question.
Report,
but my guess is that they're not used.
Right, and that's very well, and it's very possible. But
God dang it! I think I got all my bullet points here, Mike. This place is a must visit for us. Are you kidding me? We need to get there, Mike, and soon. We have already agreed that we're going to look at a fall date. First and foremost, because the weather is great in fall here. And we need to make official plans to do this, Mike. Do you got any more things, anything else you'd like to add to this legend of Tagus?
Well, I'm just seeing a part here, and I don't know if you, it talks about the abandoned homes that are supposedly haunted as well. It's not just the church and around it. And
no, exactly. I kind of, I mentioned like the supposed voices you're hearing.
Town. Yeah. It says the town's abandoned homes are not spared from the legends either. And then it starts going into where people report hearing the weeping, wailing, and the cry of an infant off in the distance. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What is these weeping, crying babies and infants? Well, they're the same thing.
So it's a place that is obviously, people go there to do this kind of thing, investigate. Yeah. So if people aren't, if you're not, run out by people that might live there, and who knows who lives there now still. I mean, because that story that I was reading was like, I don't know.
Supposedly, and why not? There's, a few residents who are still, around the area. Why wouldn't they be? But I don't think it's utterly and totally abandoned. But
at least people do go there, and it's like we could go there and get some good investigating.
Done. Sure, absolutely. Yeah. That's one thing I read, that one of the an investigative team that went there, they were visited by people who were in the town at the time, who they might have been visitors themselves, and they went up to this investigative team and they shared some of their personal experiences, and they were like, going, whoa, really? And so it just kind of got their paranormal tingly senses going there a little bit.
You know what I'm going to do? Fargo Paranormal with Audrey.
Oh, hell yeah. Good one.
I should talk to her. I will. I'll send her a message and ask her if she's heard of it, heard of the stories there. Maybe they've been there. They've been.
Why didn't we do that for this episode? We should have done that before this episode. I didn't even think about that. Good thought, though.
Well, you're still working on getting her on the show.
Yeah, no, they're definitely they've agreed to. She's looking forward to. It's just a matter of setting it up.
Yeah, and if they've been there, we can ask what they've been through.
And maybe they've been there, and maybe they've experienced absolutely nothing. Which a lot of people have claimed.
Yeah, so I couldn't imagine them not have heard about it, but I'll find out, see if they have any information.
And before I forget, we are going to do another YouTube video exclusive episode, and it's going to be a cool one because Mike's going to. We mentioned briefly here, Mike has the It's Debbie scrying mirror out, and he is going to start practicing, diving into that scrying vibe, I guess, the scrying practice itself. We're going to see what happens, and he's going to set it up. He's going to set up some video recording of that, and I'm going to edit it into our video episode, along with some of our other clips that we shared for our then Patreon account. But hey, why not start sharing it to our YouTube channel, our awesome YouTube subscribers? Because as we've said 1,001 times, we're going to really try our best to focus a lot on our YouTube page. We want to see that community start growing. Go subscribe. We'd love to see you guys there. More and more video content is coming. And again, I mentioned this last episode, or was it 2 episodes ago? I didn't realize this was a possibility, but if you would like to support us financially, since there's no more Patreon, you can give us a tip on our tip jar on the formerly known as Twitter social media, flailing social media app. Twitter is now known as X for whatever reason. Yeah. So,
well, I tell you, people are going to go crazy on that.
I'm going to go crazy on
making
X.
Money left and right.
Woohoo! Yeah.
We appreciate it.
If you want to give us a nickel, I'm just saying it's there. I was kind of surprised to see that possibility there just a few weeks ago. So,
well, what the heck?
Mike, final thoughts on Tagus, my friend. I am looking forward to this one. Oh, damn it. All over the place. Shout out to Angela, too, for making us feel good about our awkwardness. That was awesome. Yeah. We appreciate it. And
Pandora, she had a comment down there. That,
I know. We love the interaction with you guys. It's awesome. I am going to be visiting, and I know you're listening right now, Chloe. Eventually, sometime in the future, you will be listening. I am going to be visiting Chloe's house up in Babbitt. You might have heard her for a few months back. She was our guest on one of our Ghost Stories episodes. A lot of weird paranormal stuff is going on in that house a lot of times, apparently, quite often. And I will be visiting there, doing some investigating.
You'll do a great job there. I unfortunately will most likely not be able to make it, but you will.
You'll be there in spirit, man. You'll be there in spirit, and I'm going to FaceTime you, so we're going to make that work.
Yep, absolutely.
So the house will be cleared. There will be... I want to get audio recording of the footsteps that her and her husband hear.
And I'm sure Joe will be with you. So
Joe will be with me, too. Yes, absolutely.
So you'll have great coverage and everything.
Okay, Mike, a couple minutes left. Final thoughts on Tagus.
I love it, and I can't wait. And I'm going to be positive about finding stuff that's going to blow people's minds.
Oh, it's going to be so cool. And thing is, too, not to sound corny and cheesy, I love road trips, and, it's going to be a fun road trip.
I tell you, the stuff that you see between here and there, when you get further out there, there's awesome stuff to see, like attractions and roadside stuff, and it's just a really, really cool part of North Dakota.
I can't wait. And I can't wait to hear feedback from all you listeners out there. We appreciate all you guys so much. We kid about the feedback sometimes and negative feedback, but in all sincerity, let's have the positive feedback outdo the negative feedback. Come on, let those negative Nellies know that we do have listeners who enjoy the Paranormal Zone just as much as Mike's dog Macy loves it. She's licking the she's slobbering all over his face right now.
Too,
your dogs know when we're wrapping up an episode.
Yes, she does especially. It's like, as soon as I'm reaching up to shut the computer off or whatever, she is on me.
She's like, Dad's done. Okay, well, thank you very much, Mike. This has been an awesome episode. This is a great precursor and a great tease to some future investigations. Thank you so much.
Stay tuned for that Debbie mirror.
The Debbie Mirror scrying video is going to be great, and tune in for our next YouTube video. That is going to be awesome. Help our YouTube community grow. Go subscribe, watch, like, and all that good stuff. Okay, Mike, until next time.
Quit sniffing me there.
Oh, what? Well, take the peanut butter out of your lap then. God damn it.
Anyway.
All right, Mike.
Everybody, please, until next time, peace out.